So welcome to our today's course, Empower People's course called Finding Grants. I usually like to do my cheesy joke, which is welcome to organic chemistry, the course that strikes fear amongst all psychology majors, but that is not this course. It is Finding Grants. Woo! Let's wipe our brow, no calculus today. Before we get started, the first thing we always do is we always say the Empower People oath. So if everyone can mute, I will say the oath. Just repeat after me, because it's really wonky if you're not on mute and we're all saying it. It does this really weird recording thing. I don't know if you've ever done that. I learned that during COVID when we tried to sing together, me and my team.
So go on mute.
Really choppy. Yeah. Don't do it. So I, Tiffany Joy Green, do solemnly swear to accept a lifelong obligation to hone my superhero powers and apply those superhero powers to the good of the people I serve. I will promote and add to the ongoing success of Empower People, its members, and the people, organizations, and communities it serves. I will help prepare the next generation of superheroes. I am driven to be a positive change agent for those I serve and interact with. And now if we just take a moment and do superhero pose, hands on the hip, look up. It actually does scientifically alter your mood so you feel like you can conquer everything. It's not made up. Scientifically proven. Okay. Now I'll pass the baton over to Michelle.
Welcome. Thank you guys for joining today. Tiffany, thank you for having me and let me to have this great opportunity for so many different organizations and business owners that are looking for more money. So I am a grant writer and fundraising. I would like to say expert, but I'm still a learner. I still love learning every day. And I love connecting with people. And I feel like that kind of separates me from some of with the other ranks, because I love connecting. Earlier today, I was doing another radio interview in my board director role that I've carried a long time. And I am always about finding opportunity. So within opportunity is funding and money. And grants is part of that. So today you're joining us for Finding Grants, which was a great concept that Tiffany and I came together, and she's like, you got to do this. And I'm like, sure, I'll do this. So part of my role is not just writing the grants, but advisor, coach. I'm a nonprofit coach for a lot of them. And that comes in advisement, creating strategic calendars for my clients, really getting to know kind of the ins and outs of their organizations and businesses. So today's outcomes, we're all on the same page, Tiffany, is that right? I just want to make sure. We're on what makes for a good human, makes for good marketing, why your current marketing efforts may be falling flat, and what your mission and vision and values are and what benefits you are. So when I came up and worked on this a little bit with Tiffany, I spent a lot of time just thinking about different things that I've done. And one of the things I've been able to do is teach and educate my clients. And I have great testimonials to several previous EDs. And I've coached for a long time and really love being able to share those little tips and tricks to people, because that really plays a full circle when it comes to the grants. So it really takes good people skills, good marketing skills. And sometimes we feel like we are falling flat in our organizations, especially since right now we're sitting on Q4. It's a good reflection of where we want to go for 2025 and where we want to hit the mark for the rest of this quarter, because the quarter's really just started and there's so much opportunity and you don't want to waste it. And then the mission and vision and values matter so much, because grants are about that. They're not about what can I get right now. They're about your mission, your vision, and whether you're a business or organization, you obviously built that within what you're doing. You believe in it. You are your own superhero in that. And that's why you're listening today. So, and then how it benefits you. How do these grant and funding opportunities benefit you? So I guess we can move on to the next slide. Awesome. Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties. I apologize. I live very far out from everything, and I was traveling for work this morning. So Tiffany's working with me here, and I am very appreciative of it. So thank you. So who am I? As I mentioned, I am a grant writer, but I'm also a fundraising professional. That means I wear many hats. I delegate my time very wisely. I love connecting and hearing those stories. I was just at an event last night in Brunswick County, got to meet some amazing people out there near where I live, and their stories, those stories create an impact. And that's where the opportunity comes. I also have a regular Funding Insight show that is aired every week on Monday mornings at 5:30 a.m. And it's bringing people together, bringing guests, previous clients, current clients, testimonials, different sponsors that I've brought on throughout the years, connections, everything from civilian to military, to people coming on for their business, but how we connected. And all of that matters because it's not just about what you can get, it is overall the impact that you can make and the purpose behind it. So I am qualified, experienced. I'm fully business licensed. Have some great things coming up in 2025 that I can't share at the moment, but I'm so excited. And one of the things is I have an educational background. I'm a veteran and I'm a military spouse. So I am able to really kind of get in a lot of communities and have those opportunities that many may not. And that has really provided me the opportunity to really get to know these business owners, to really get to know these nonprofits. And all my clients come through referrals. And sometimes I have more work than I can get because I'm always busy and it's just me. So I love what I do. And it is the roles that I've carried a really long time, quietly, kind of in the trenches that have led me to where I am now. So I'm also been on the board of directors for the Holiday Helper Association at Fort Gregg Adams, formerly Fort Lee, Virginia. I have served on this in this great organization for well over a decade. I have a lot of connections I brought in. I've worked with a great team. I understand what it is to be a team. So even as a consultant, I have to be part of the team in some way. I have to really know what's going on. I help staff and team members really dissect some of the problems because it isn't just, again, about writing the grant. It is about really dissecting what's going on, seeing the full story. And part of that is because of my experience in multiple roles, not just Holiday Helper Association, that has allowed me to do that throughout the years. And seeing civilian nonprofits as well. I've served in so many different capacities for so many organizations, and honestly, it's like a calling. I love it. And like I said, I'm a military spouse veteran, and I have a son at the United States Military Academy, and I'm very proud of him. So whatever I can do for my communities and serve, I kind of say I may not be in the uniform anymore, but it's service before self always. I love building connections, building relationships up, lifting communities and building them up, lifting them up, come and give them a facelift, and continue carrying that through what I do with I call impactful storytelling, which I do not only as a fundraiser in different capacities for organizations and businesses, but also as a grant writer. So free grant money. This is a topic I get often, and I've had many clients and again wore many hats, and we always want money. Who doesn't want free money? I mean, obviously, we all want free money, but is it really free? And what are the things that we don't see or don't know behind free grant money? Well, every day thousands of foundations and government agencies are giving away free money. Many assume they won't qualify or that it's just too hard to apply. So they just say, oh, I'm not going to do this. And many do not know where to look, which I hear this a lot. Well, I just don't know where to look. And I know that we qualify, but I just don't have the time. What can you do for me? I listened to somebody last night. They were asking, what can you do for me? What is your process? And then it says, who doesn't like free money? We all want free money. And if we're an organization or business, we definitely could use that extra money somewhere for our business or for our programs within our organizations. So it's really important to know what is behind this free money and also not to be intimidated and say, oh, it's not worth trying. I may not qualify or it's too hard. You have to be up for the challenge and realize you are enough. You can find it. If you don't try, you'll never know. So So introductions matter. I'm a big believer in this. First impressions matter. And I guess coming out of the military and working in service for so long with that mentality of serving, even before I joined the military, came out and went into education, introductions matter. Anywhere in your businesses to your organization. So think about it. If you have a child, they go to school, your child is almost like the customer in school for the teacher serving them, giving them a service. It's important that that first day that teacher is giving a great introduction to that child because that's going to set the tone for the rest of the school year, even for the parent, because when they go back to school night, you want to get a great impression because you want to make sure that you have that great communication vibe between them. So if you have a problem or you have a question, or you know that you need to communicate to get more information about your child's grades or whatever it may be, that you know you're in the know. Well, as what I do, or as an organization or business owner, you want to make sure that you're advertising your brand at all times. So, for instance, if you have a nonprofit and maybe you're just a staff member, you're not the founder, you're not the ED, you're still representing them. So it's important that you're presenting yourself in that manner and that you're making an impression. So you don't want to just say, here's my name tag and here I go. You want to make it impactful in your introduction. So relationships that I've had and carried a very long time, many of them support many different nonprofits that I support or work for. And it's because they believe in giving. They have that giving mentality. They believe in that impact. And when you can talk to somebody and introduce yourself on what mission or what business you have, that's it. You did it. I know when I've went to networking events, because I've been going to events for a really long time, I'm always looking for folks that kind of go into my circle. And it's amazing because I just went to an event earlier this week. And nothing is close to me, by the way. So I do make sure that I have the intent and purpose to go where I go to meet people that are not always the same folks. And it was really cool because I met another military spouse. Her husband had just retired from Fort Gregg. She has amazing new business in Chester. And it was just amazing because we hit it off really well, and we both have been in that role as a military spouse a really long time. So that first impression just was amazing. And we talked about what we did. You could tell the passion that we both had. When it comes to my partnerships, same thing. I take the time to go further than the computer, further than the Zoom meeting, and to go meet them. I take the time to go an hour or two for a lunch meeting and say, okay, this is what I need. This is who I am. And I don't go throw all of my clients at them. I have an intent and purpose of what client would fit that company. Or if it's a business, I tend to get businesses because they have sponsored one of my clients or another client here or two. And they're like, hey, I really need your help here. And it's because they believe in that impact. So introductions matter. Introductions matter so much that Miss Tiffany Green and I, we had a great introduction, and we both believe in that impact and purpose alignment. And it really does matter because you don't want to just go up and ask somebody, hey, can you do this? Can I have this money? Or a grant maker that may not fit, because it's a waste of your time and theirs. And then you'll get a decline, and then you'll wonder why. Well, some declines just happen. You don't want to go waste your time on a grant when it doesn't align with your organization or your business. So, what is a grant conversation? So, when you reach out to the corporations, foundations, donor advised funds, government agencies through email and through their website form or call by phone. So, what that means, I'm sorry, I'm just reading it and I want to go into more detail. So, one thing about having a grant conversation, I was reaching out to a client earlier today because this is the fourth quarter. People want to know, where we are. And I always communicate very with everything, where we are with grants, where we are moving from the very beginning of that conversation to implementing the application, to sending the LOI, to the grant application, to following up if we got it, and to do the post work that comes with it, to the closure part, which some reports take over a year to do. And the first big step is getting ahead of that grant, reaching out to these corporations, these foundations, these donor advised funds, government agencies through email, and then setting up a time to meet. One of the things that I do that takes up time and is well unnoticed a lot is those meetings that I have. Some are in person, some are on Zoom and Microsoft Teams or whatever platform they use. And we discuss who we are. Who am I today? I'm this organization, I'm with this business. And, let me tell you a little bit about who we are. And this is why I think we'll connect, why we mesh. And the meeting usually lasts anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And if you go shorter, sometimes that's not a good fit. But they love being able to put a face to that interest, because when it comes to that process, they were able to understand and know that I took the time to reach out, took the time to do the research on who they are, and then now they know, after I got their permission or their blessing, I guess, to apply for the grant. And some will tell you that I just don't think we're a good fit, so we don't continue, and that's fine. And then I report it to my client and let them know. But that introduction, that grant conversation, that setup really needs to happen, because that's like a foundation that you need. And then the only problem with this is most people get discouraged by the delayed responses and assume it's a negative response, which, I don't know. I'm one of those people. I keep going after it and I don't stop. And I did this before I even got paid to do it a long time ago. And believe me, I was on the phone. I keep calling. I probably was one of them they probably got irritated at back 15 years ago when I was doing work for our military service members. And I just kept going because I'm like, I need this. And if this isn't it, I have to have a plan B, a plan C, or a plan D, regardless, because the mission goes on. You have to fill this regardless. So I have that mentality. It's not, you just got to keep finding a way. And it's where there's a will, there's a way. And just because there's a delayed response, so many times if I'm setting up a initial conversation with a big corporation, I'm not going to get a response back that day, maybe not that week. That's okay. What I do is I have a system in place where I tell myself I'm going to follow up 2 weeks later, because I've set the stage so far in advance that I have time to go dig more into this to another person. So one thing, being a prior service member and being a military spouse in the roles that I have, I've learned the chain of command very well. And I know what I need to do to get to the right person. And if you can't get to it, you set up the Zoom meetings with the other people. You use all these social media platforms now that are ready available, which weren't available at one time. And you connect with those folks, telling them who you are so you can get to the right person. And believe me, a lot of them appreciate that. So don't assume just because you get a delayed response that means a no or it's negative. Just be patient with the process. And I know there's other folks with businesses that deal with processes, and it is a process. Everything is a process in our daily life. So I have a couple websites that I put on here because they were fresh in my brain, because I deal with so many websites all the time. Research is a big key of what I do. And so if you have a moment, I'm going to go ahead and put it into, because I apologize. I was traveling for work this morning. So luckily it's in my computer already. So I'm just waiting for the little circle to go. Sorry. So you are going to scroll down and it says, let's take a look at this more closely. This grant requires a grant conversation before applying. So this is the Suffolk Foundation. So they're getting a nod here. They don't even know it. So if you look, this is telling you about the Suffolk Foundation's Community Impact Grant. So when you go do research, you have the name of the foundation, and then it tells you what their focus is. But if you scroll down, and I mean scroll, so it has all the timelines on there, and we'll go back to that in a bit. But if you go down and it says how to apply, so first they want you to say, are you a previous award person? Did you get an award from this grant before? And then you check the box, or you say, yes, I did. So they might have some rules on that. But then it says, if you are interested, it says, once you've reached out to the staff, come back to this webpage for the link of the online application. And the online application is to open the September 1st to October 15th each year. So they're just saying that the paragraph before that, it says, even if your organization is a recent grantee, we urge you to call us at your planning on our proposal so we can provide feedback on your application ideas. This is particularly true if you're requesting a significant increase in funding over your latest community impact grant. Well, this particular grant is saying we urge you to reach out to us if you're interested. And there is a lot of grants like this, okay? This is just one, all right? It's important that you follow the directions and have that conversation, even if you're not a people person in that capacity where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't really want to talk to anybody. I just want to do the grant. You have to in this case, and it doesn't have to be a call. In this case, I did call and I did talk, and then I followed up with my client, and then we had to produce a certain X amount of material, and then we got approval to proceed with this application, and we completed everything the way they wanted. And it was a simple process. Did it give me a little stress? Yes, because they had a lot of steps, but a lot of grants have steps, and you have to know and be able to recognize, you got to do this. And in order to find grant money, you have to be able to be open for those grant conversations, especially if they have guidelines that says you need to reach out to have that conversation. And in this case, we had to go through a lot of steps to even get to the application link, because if we went through their steps, that would have just been a decline because we didn't follow the steps that they had on there. I hope this makes sense for everybody. I'm sorry, I'm very tired, so I'm doing the best I can. All right. And if I'm talking too fast, I'm so sorry. I used to be a teacher. When I'm coaching EDs and staff, it's so different than doing a Zoom. So, but it says, let's take a peek for grant research. So think about your mission.
Michelle, I
Yes.
just want to take a moment and say we got about 10 minutes just so you can keep track of time till we go to Q&A.
Oh, okay. So think about your mission and think about your keywords in your mission. And when you do not know where to look, think about these keywords. So when you're doing your grant research, it's very important you know the keywords that stick out. So just off the top of my head, I have several clients that are empowering youth. Guess what? What sticks out? Empower youth. Start researching and building on those. So when you have keywords from your mission, pick them out and start doing the research. I'm going faster. See, picking it up here. Where did the grant go wrong? So that you forgot to do your research. So don't set yourself up for failure. Simply put, research is the first step of grant writing process. If your foundation, it is your foundation, so make it strong. So it's just like if you remember the writing process in school, I was a previous English teacher, and I always say, guess what? Pre-writing, brainstorming, this little spider web mind maps, guess what? You got to do the same thing here. You can't miss the research. You got to do your homework. Do the work, do it the old-fashioned way. That's what I said. Get your notepad out. So I have my notepad always. I go through one a week. It can get overwhelming otherwise. Get your notepad out, get a pencil or pen, get your computer out and start researching potentials. Find your way of doing it. Understand your organizations, your mission and vision, and your needs of what you're trying to identify, and find potentials and write lists down and look at the details. What I need you to think about while researching are the needs of your organization or business for the next 12 months. Yes, 12 months. Your budget, the grants. Do not keep the lights on. Grants are not your way of paying the bills. They take care of the programming. Grant makers have requirements. They require documents. So the funding goes to whatever you've written for that grant, not for your bills. What now when you find some potentials in your research? So the writing process, it's a formal request for the project. Perfect or close to perfect matters. So if you aren't like me and you have educational experience or teaching experience or have an English degree or anything like that, guess what? Go to Google, put in a writing process. It'll give you the five steps. If you want to, you can find other techniques that work with the writing process. I used to find really great ways when I taught middle school and high school. Guys, it's easy. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just Google it. You have the internet at your fingertips. So, how grant research is like finding Waldo, seeking out grant opportunities in a crowd of other seekers, sticking out from the crowd and connecting with potentials matters. And yes, I used finding Waldo because how many of us were looking at those books as kids and looking forever of where's Waldo? Well, guess what? Grant opportunities are the same way. And you really got to know where you're looking and being able to really pick out your potentials with intent, with the right intentions. All right, so finding grants. A good grant researcher needs the following: good networking skills, a great research. You have to be a great detective in finding research. You not to be a budget guru. Know what you need, and if you're representing your business, or you're the owner, or you're with that nonprofit, then you should know yours better than somebody like me coming in, because you are with that particular business or organization. I usually come in because that is usually where the confusion lies. So you need to make sure you know these 3 things. Building relationships matter. Getting to know your funders and seeking further information goes a long way, and it saves a lot of time and effort. So one of the things that I do for my clients is help them and teach them on how to continue building those relationships for the longevity, not for everything you can get right now, but what you can do for 5 years from now. Because think about your SOPs, think about where you want to go in the long run, not where necessarily you want to go today and what you can get today. Because in general, where do you want to be with your business? Where do you want to be with your organization? Think about it that way. Importance of good writing. The hardest part of grant writing process is writing a clear, concise proposal. It's not just about being a wordsmith, but writing for a specific audience and details. And you will address the why, address it with a why, not a what. Why are you doing this work? It matters a lot when you do that. That's the difference between your proposal getting picked out as opposed to maybe the other person that wrote next to you. So make sure you are addressing your why and not your what. Why good research matters. Without the research, the proposal will be unclear. Remember, the proposal will support your research. For example, share an example. See, this is what happens when you're ready for Friday. So, remember, a proposal will support your research. So for instance, I have folks all the time that come to me. I heard this foundation gets tons of money. Okay. Well, what's their focus? Do you know their focus? And I have to back off and say, if you don't know their focus and you don't know why you're writing, then why are we spending time on this problem? Let's find the right person that has the right alignment with your organization and business. Don't just go say, oh my gosh, I saw that on Facebook. We got to go do it. No, just because you saw it, why don't we sit down and discuss this? So one of the things I really dissect with my clients when I come on firsthand is we discuss what I'm going to do first, because I don't know anything about them other than I may know them, or I may know somebody referred me to them, but I really need to know the real scene, the real world behind their organization or business. And that takes me to sit down and have a hard conversation, and then also talking about some of the problems within their organization they've had for years that go way beyond me, and I can't fix everything. And I'm very honest, and I try to connect them with the right people that might provide an opportunity for them that I cannot. So please, please, please don't go write a grant if you're not going to do the research, because you're wasting your time and theirs. Don't go write one for a foundation. Oh, you see 2 or 3 other organizations down the street from you writing. If it doesn't align with you, or your chances are really low, think about one that may be better for you and write that one. So in summary, when looking for free grant money, think about your purpose and keywords. That matters so much. Why are you looking for this free grant money? Remind yourself, why are you doing this? Because you might get lost in it. You might be like, I can't do this. This is just not what I thought. I thought they said 5 minutes or 20 minutes. Oh, it'd be done in 2 days. Most of the time, my stuff takes quite a bit. And I go back and double check, proofread, edit. Sometimes I even get, depending on my clients, some clients want to see the final before we send it out. And I encourage that because I'm a human being and we all can make errors. We're not perfect. So it's really important that you have a good team that will sit down and say, hey, we might need to add this. Because I've worked for organizations inside the organizations, and we all collaborated and talked about it when we wrote it, and we would add and maybe see another side to it. That's good. So be your own researcher expert as it sets the foundation of your organization and the grant writer proposal. Connect and build a relationship with your potential grant maker. It does not mean you got to be besties, friends. It just means build a relationship. Don't just be a paper push where your paper's getting moved or your portal's getting moved. Like, I've really had the pleasure of meeting some wonderful corporations and businesses through online or through the phone or at meetings, and you meet them all over. Sometimes they just happen, like, I was meant to be here, and it's great. The magic happens. It just has to be aligned with your organization or business.
Thank you, Michelle. And you did a very good job. It's 1:35 and we started a few minutes late, so perfect timing. That's 30 minutes. Gold star. If anybody can find that gold star emoji, let's give it to Michelle. But now we're going to transition into the Q&A. So at this point, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody in Facebook land. We hope you learned a lot from this course. And if you're not a current Empower People member, please join. It's empowerpeople.org/join. It's in the comment, no excuse. Go and join today. And we'll see you in Facebook land on the flip side. I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing the flip side back. Okay.
Oh, I love the stars. Good touch. Thank you.